All right, good morning, everybody. Monday morning, cloudy, dismal, rainy. Welcome to the Monday morning edition of Bob's Breakfast Club. We're glad that you guys have tuned in this morning, and I believe that I have a golden nugget for you today that is going to help you in your organization and your business. And boy, oh boy, the messages start coming in for me as soon. I'm not even awake this morning already, and it's like message. Like, holy smokes. So today I want to talk to you about this. I want to talk to you about grudges. Ooh, that ugly word called grudges. Because how many know that the heaviest thing that a person can carry is a grudge? How many of you would agree with that? I mean, that can be pretty but ugly, holding on to a grudge for so long. Forgiveness is the key to personal peace. And forgiveness releases action and creates freedom. Freedom is never granted by the oppressor. It must be demanded by the oppressed. I mean, we all need to say the right thing after doing the wrong thing. How many would agree with that? We all need to say the right thing after doing the wrong thing. Lawrence Stern said this one time. He said, "Only the brave know how to forgive. A coward never forgave, and it's not in his nature." Josiah Bailey adds to this when he says, "It is the truth that those who forgive most shall be forgiven most." How many would agree with that? See, one of the secrets of a long and fruitful life is to forgive everybody, everything, every night before you go to bed. The Bible talks a little bit about that when it says, "Don't let the sun go down on your wrath." Or in layman's terms, don't be ticked off before you go to bed. And you know why? Because all throughout the course of the night, while you're sleeping in your subconscious, you're trying to think of ways to retaliate. You're trying to think of ways to maybe cover things up. You're trying to manipulate it in your mind. And we're always worried about what other people are going to think. Somebody said one time, "You're not what you think you are what you think." That's interesting. When you have a huge chip on your shoulder, it causes you to lose your balance. I mean, think about that. Anybody who walks around like that, maybe you have to ask, "Hey, you have a chip on your shoulder?" The last person that had a chip on their shoulder, I ate it. Especially if it's a Ruffles potato chip. Think about that. But if you quit nursing a grudge, it would die. If you quit feeding the thing, it would starve to death. You need to starve the fears that scream the loudest. Think about that. You don't need a doctor to tell you that it's better to remove a grudge than a nurse to do it. Because forgiveness is a funny thing. It warms the heart and cools this thing all the time. It is far better to forgive and forget than to resent and remember. Josh Billings said this one time. He said, "There is no revenge so complete as forgiveness." Remember this guy who said this? My fellow American. My dentist does that. He cracks me up. Dr. Keith Miller in Hamilton. Every time I see him, he's like, because he knows I'm American, "My fellow Americans." I'm like, oh, you give it a rest. But Richard Nixon said, "Those who hate, you don't win unless you hate them, and then you destroy yourself." That is a mouthful in itself, because why aren't some prayers answered? Well, Dwight Moody said this. He said, "I firmly believe that a great many prayers are not answered because we're not willing to forgive somebody." I still think that forgiveness, unlocks the key all the time. So don't go to bed ticked off at somebody. Don't hold the grudge. You don't want to release the past and claim the free. Listen, how many of you, hey darling, how many of you want to release the past and claim the future? How many know that quite often you can't claim the future if you're holding on to the past? Forgiveness does not change the past, but it does change the future. Harry Fosdick said this. He said, "No one can be wrong with man and right with God." He said, "No one can be wrong with man and right with God. That you can be wrong in the middle of being right when you don't forgive somebody. Protest long enough that you are right and you'll be wrong. How many of the very moment if you always have to justify yourself, justify your actions, you become your own defense lawyer, that gets a little old after a while. I mean, the Bible says in Ephesians, let all bitterness, let all wrath, let all anger, clamor, evil speaking, put away from you. Just get rid of all that stuff. It says, be kind one to another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, even as Christ forgave you. So you have to ask yourself, if God is willing to forgive, then who am I to hold out? Because it's always easier. I mean, we always... Now, how many have done some stuff silly in the past? And boy, you are quick to go to God for forgiveness, but not quite so easy to forgive those who have offended you. So I would encourage you guys today, don't hold on to any grudges. Don't go to bed, with wrath on your brain. Be gentle in your spirit. Be compassionate. Do not let any unwholesome talk, Ephesians says this, and I'll end with this. Don't let any unwholesome talk come out of your mouth, but only that which is helpful for building others up so that it might benefit those that listen to it. So that's my words for you guys today. I have a John Maxwell Mastermind starting in an hour and 20 minutes that I've got to get ready for. So God bless you guys. I trust you have a super duper day. Bye for now, and thanks for taking part of Bob's Breakfast Club. How's that? I gotta turn this thing off, and my mouse won't let me move my arrow. Come on, you goof.